What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics show. We are live here on DSM-Media's Philadelphia YouTube and Twitter channels. Guys, do yourself a favor, do us a favor. Make sure to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Hit that follow button and then check out the link tree in our bio. It will take you to every social media platform that we are available on. If you guys want to be interactive throughout today's show or any of our live streams, just like on the other side under Scotty, you can see the name on there. Check out the YouTube link specifically. Subscribe. Like the video, share it with your friends, family, any other Philly sports fans that you guys may know of. Howie Roseman has struck again over the last couple days. Saquon Barkley, well rewarded, will retire an Eagle. Saquon Baun bought back. Linebacker secured. We got some Phillies topics to get into and whatever else you guys want to dive into. So leave a comment like my guy TR is right now. Give us your thoughts, comments, and opinions. But my man, happy Friday, and what is going on?
Happy Friday, brother. Just getting the show shared out on my end, but nonetheless, I'm feeling good. Obviously, we've had some great news over the last few days, just from a financial and free agency standpoint for the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously. But then you have the other side of things, right? You have the drama-filled Twitter that has just been ridiculous this week. Ever since
always something, man. Always something
got dropped. So yeah, man, and obviously we'll get into all of it today. But you just wish sometimes, my man, and this is not at any direct player, so I don't want it to get taken out of context. But you just wish guys would shut the hell up sometimes, like Darius Slay, man, you don't need to go hop on 5 different podcasts after you get released from the Eagles, man. It's almost like I know they probably get paid for these appearances, and it's almost just like a money grab. And it's like, you're already going into free agency, bro. You're getting cut for money purposes to go out and get a bag from another team rather than coming back for less, right? So just go out and get your bag, man, and maybe talk about it once you're on the new team, right? Yeah. But it's just it's weird how you can have a guy dropped today and like later that night they'll be on a podcast talking about their situation.
For sure.
How is that good for business on either end? I don't understand.
It's not.
How that's
and
good for business.
The funniest thing about the whole Slay thing is, like, he said on one of the podcasts, maybe even the exact one where he really stirred the pot, that his destination wants to be Philly. As long as the money's right, as long as they're on the same page, he wants to come back to Philly. And then more and more was said. Let's address this first. Let's start with this before we get
because I see TR's comment, and I do want to address that as well, man, because AJ did lie. He was being very he told a lie in his tweets yesterday, TR. I'm going to argue with you a little bit there, calling, like, he's delusional if he thinks that fans are fueling national media agendas. Like, that's ridiculous.
Correct.
Eagles community can be messy, but the entire community, no, we're diehard fans, dog. Like, we love this team.
The problem
we love AJ. We shut New England fans down,
and it's not even really a problem. But the what it is it's the same people, right? It's CJ, GJ, it's Slay, and when he says things like, "You guys create narratives," your teammate is subtweeting a former teammate who just went on a podcast tour saying things about your teammates. You know what I mean? Like, the fans didn't just start this hypothetical conversation, just like the fans didn't pull the quote out of the passing game after the Carolina game out of thin air, just like they didn't pull stuff out with Slay before. Like, the fans didn't create that. Now, I will say, the 2%, that's what pisses me off the most, man, is why are you paying attention to the 2% minority of this
negative,
the trolls, the annoying people, like, just the ones that are always pessimistic? It's like, dude, he does, like, and again, like, obviously he's not going to see what me and you do, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, he can't see me and you on here talking about, like, the other week about Colin Cowherd's comment. Like, he doesn't see anything positive, but the 2%, the 1% that are negatives in the fan base, those are the ones that always get the attention. So those people need to shut the fuck up, because
I agree.
You're going to start driving stars away, and that's going to affect everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree, and I think it's part of the new age, like, social media era that we're all a part of now as well, is, like, it creates open communication channels between the fans and the players and the organization, all of it, right? So everybody can get online and spew their opinion, and it can be viewed by millions of people. But the thing is, the point that I pulled out of what you said, and I do agree, it's both sides. There's nobody that's fully at fault here outside of like Slay and CGJ, who are to TR's point, they don't like each other, I guess, in the lot. Like I guess they don't respect each other. I don't know what that's about. I do agree with that point. Like outside of that, it goes a lot of different directions as far as fault being pointed to. But to your point, AJ Brown is a journalism major in college, right? That's what he always points out. He knows how it works. So for him to come out and say that yesterday, it feels like I'm being gaslit. Like it feels like he's gaslighting me. Like, you know how it works. Yeah. You know how journalism works. You know that negativity clicks sell. You know how it works, but you are feeding into it by pointing out the negativity further. Correct. Right? Retweeting giving, Joe Paz or whatever that guy's name is.
You're giving a small flame oxygen.
Yeah, exactly. Where you could, to your point, he doesn't see our pod, but why not? We're sitting here hyping him up. We sit here, we decline any trade that New England would ever send us for AJ Brown. We sit here, we stand tall for Darius Slay.
They don't win games without him. Like,
you know, like we called ourselves out for criticizing Darius Slay before he gave us this season and a Super Bowl trophy, right? We went back on what we had said on him in the past, and then he goes out and does this again. But now we're in the wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense, man.
The whole point, I think, TR, for when it comes to, like, the player, when it comes to AJ's standpoint here is, like, he's not wrong. But like I said, you're giving, when you give that 1%, that 2% of absolute fucking morons, and it's on Twitter, too, man. Like, you're not hearing fans, like, you're not seeing shit at the parade. No, you're giving like dudes that have like fake pictures as their profile pictures. When you give that 1% attention, when you shine a light onto it, you're giving a small little dim flame and oxygen, which is then where it starts to pick up steam. Now AJ Brown's tweeted about it 6 times. Yeah. Now the national media is talking about it because AJ Brown's talking about it. The national media is not just finding these tweets from some Eagles fans. They're finding them because you're giving it life. You're giving it energy. And that's not, when you say Eagles community, that's the part that I think pisses you off the most. Because that's not Eagles community. You're giving the 1% to 2% of idiots attention.
Yeah. That's what hurts me.
Now I got to worry about, is one of my favorite players, is one of the stars disgruntled? Is he going to want to leave because of these idiots? Like, that bothers me.
To your point, what's going to be on the news today? And mind you, I haven't watched ESPN. I haven't watched NFL Network, whatever.
It's been all LeBron and Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, I did see that stuff. But what I would imagine, what would come out of this, right, is going to be the New England AJ Brown shit again, right? Like, is AJ Brown on his way out? He doesn't like the Eagles community. He thinks that they're all disrespectful or whatever.
It's the first thing I started to see. New England podcast, drama. Tweeting it. Oh yeah, all type of stuff. But
and then the other thing as well, man, with AJ Brown, right? Once again, I want to make it clear, I'm not trading AJ Brown. Like, we can talk about this.
We love you.
We're not trading AJ Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles, period. It doesn't matter what the offer is. I want to make that clear. But I do think at a certain point, if you're AJ Brown, like, or if I'm looking at the AJ Brown situation, him speaking out on this was completely unnecessary, right?
I agree.
Do you want some attention? Is that what it is? Like, what is it? He's a diva, right? Like, he gets called a diva, wide receiver divas, and Terrell Owens, and all of that, blah, blah, blah. What is it that you want out of this situation? Do you want to? You just want us to shut up? You know that's not going to happen. Yeah. So what do you want out of it?
Here's the best part about it.
That's what I mean by gaslighting.
Another part of your frustration and why he did it. The question is, again, this Eagles community that's so messy that stirs shit up. It wasn't pulled out of thin air. Hell, let's go back to the source, which we can get into now. The Darius Slay comments, the podcast. It's not even what Darius Slay said. Darius Slay didn't go on a podcast and not call Jalen Hurts elite. He didn't go on a podcast and pick other wide receivers over Devontae Smith. And then Eagles fans got a hold of the clips, and then Eagles fans started going nuts about it. No. Your own teammate, your own active teammate in CJ Gardner-Johnson started subtweeting repeatedly about this. So who's messy?
How's that our fault? How?
The Eagles fans didn't see a clip and start going nuts about it. Your own teammate on the other side of the ball started going nuts about it. And then it's Twitter, it's social media. And again, you get the 1-2% of morons, and now you're paying attention to it and lumping everyone together. And that part's fucking stupid. But to get to the source of it all, and I you got one more thing on AJ?
Well, no, not AJ, but I just wanted to say, like, when you get to that point where CGJ is subtweeting Darius Slay about his podcast appearances, which way do you think the fan base is going to side?
Right.
The guy that's still on the team. Right. So, yeah, it might get a little slanderish towards the guy that is throwing shade on podcasts at his former teammates. It's not direct shade. It's not our beef to get into either.
It's not even that, bro.
But CGJ took it to Twitter. He made it public. And from there, fans are allowed to pick a side. I don't know what he meant by that either.
1,000%, because you guys made it public.
Yeah.
And again, I don't give a fuck. I was seeing CJ Gardner-Johnson's comments. I was paying them no mind. But do you think that's how all people are going to be? Do you think that's how all Eagles fans or teenagers or trolls are going to be on the scenario? Or non-Eagles fans and other content creators get a hold of this and start stirring the pot with internal drama and everything? No, it's not going to work that way. But the source of it all is the funniest thing, man, because this dude, like you said a couple minutes ago, we admitted, we're wrong. We always defended Darius Slay's play 99% of the time. But, winning cures all. And when you go and play the way he did this year and lead the way he did and mature, it seemed like.
Cure all.
Yeah. And then wins a Super Bowl. I don't care what Darius Slay had to say in 2022, throwing a teammate under the bus. I don't care when he's buddy with Micah Parsons in 2023 after our fall down. I don't care about that stuff now. But now here you go again. And I'm seeing the tweets from other people and other Eagles fans today. And it's basically just calling Darius Slay what you and I have always been saying. Read a room. Like, here's the one tweet from Philly Sports Network, Liam Jenkins, the president of it, the owner, creator. But he says the lack of awareness is astounding. Yeah. Read the room. So the whole point of all this nonsense is he went on a podcast and he was asked questions and they were playing games. The one game, like, no one should have a problem with it when they were asking him, guys he's covered, X versus another guy, right? And he got to AJ and he picked AJ almost every single person. And then I think he ended on Davante Adams, talking about Davante Adams in Green Bay, cooking him when he was in Detroit, all that stuff. No one and their mother should have a problem with him picking playing a game.
Davante Adams, to that point, was a top 3, top 2 receiver at that point in time.
No one has a problem with that. But then there is some shade thrown the secondary's way and leadership's way in CJ Gardner-Johnson. Yeah. And then you get to the quarterback conversation. What is wrong with you? He's not coming back. This dude needs to keep it pedaling down the street.
He's not coming back. No.
After all the stuff that was said and heard about this dude, about this quarterback, your leader this year, and the questions surrounding his play. And then he goes and does what he does, and he wins a Super Bowl, and he wins Super Bowl MVP. And you go on a podcast less than a month later and say that you have 4 elite quarterbacks in the league and not include him.
And you're in the locker room.
Other teammates of other teams will say their quarterback is the best in the world or top 3, and it'll be like Jared fucking Goff. Do you think they believe Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback? Right. They might not, but you say it because you stick up for your captain, for your guy, for your leader, who, by the way,
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, for your Super Bowl MVP, that guy. No, it's Joe Burrow, it's Lamar Jackson, it's Josh Allen, 2 guys that have never beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, never been to a Super Bowl, let alone win one. Patrick Mahomes, who he threw in there, and yeah, obviously we know no one's just going back on this year, but Patrick Mahomes not have a very good year, and then we saw the Super Bowl performance, right? That you don't include that guy. So Darius Slay's not coming back. I'm honestly thankful that he's not, because I can't do any more of the social media frenzy that comes with them, dude. Just read a room. It's the 900th time it's happened in fucking 3 years with the dude.
I think, honestly, man, that's going to be like a big like draft observation moving forward. Like, it should be, at least in my opinion. Like, guys that are getting into journalism, podcasting, anything like that, guys that are super attached to social media. Now, there's obviously a line of talent where you draw a line, right? Like, this guy is this talented, it doesn't fucking matter if he has a YouTube channel.
A la AJ Brown. Like,
I like AJ Brown. But then you get down to some of these other guys, it's like, I don't need this locker room leak on my team, right? And I think that's where things are going to get to eventually. Guys like Micah Parsons, right, that goes online and says whatever the hell he wants that comes out of the Cowboys locker room. Maybe it splits their locker room, maybe it doesn't. But to your point about Darius Slay, it's one of those like read the room type of situations. It's one of those situations where it's similar to when he was in Philly, where you just say things that are completely unnecessary in the moment, but yet the only thing that could come back from it is bad negativity, right? And you still let it fly out there, right? You just didn't have to do that with Jalen. You sat there in a locker room with him. You watched him lead your team. You watched him lead you to a Super Bowl championship, the only one in your career. And you just go out and you throw shade like that. And what it's going to create, man, it's creating this inclination that, like, I want this motherfucker to go to Detroit. I want him to go to, like, Green Bay. I want him to go to an NFC contender, and I want to play against him, and I want to watch Jalen and AJ. Not AJ. AJ want to stick up for AJ. Will put you on the other side. Smitty. I want to watch Smitty cook Darius Slay. Now, that's where Slay took me. I'm not going to get any type of hatred towards him. Yeah. I'm not going to, like, say I want him out of the league. Like, it's not like that. I want him to go get his bag. You earned it. You got a Super Bowl ring. But when we line it up and we play the team that he's on, I want him torched just for his words. That's it. Yeah. Leave it on the field. That's it.
Darius
Slay. Where I'm at.
And yeah, TR, we're about to move on in 2 seconds.
Yeah, the good stuff, TR.
Darius Slay is like this new generation of...
But he's not new generation. Yeah, you know what I mean?
This new generation of athlete that is too buddy, that is not, that doesn't fit everywhere, in an old head. Like,
he's trying to bring the NBA to the NFL, and like, fuck no.
Like, bro, we just did a show on Monday basically apologizing for giving a shit about what he just did in the past, saying how he brought relevancy back to CB1 in Philadelphia, and arguably one of the greatest corners to ever wear midnight green and Kelly Green. And then he goes and does this, and it's like, now I want to take it all back. I mean, I don't. Like, Darius Slay was
tripled down. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
He went secondary diss,
and
brother, blanket shit. Like, are we being for real
about it? Is like, you're not stupid. So like, now it's stirred up all this drama.
You're smart.
And I'm awaiting like a tweet or a clip of Darius Slay on Twitch or something talking about, like, damn, I didn't think that was gonna do this, or I didn't think people were gonna take it this way. It's like, come on, man. And again, the fans didn't take it a certain way. Your own teammate or former teammate,
this right here,
started to go at you. So yeah.
This, Dylan, this is where we can leave the convo unless you have anything else. I'll never understand how guys in that locker room could have a problem with CGJ. I'll never understand it. The dude goes out there, he speaks the world of the guys around him because he's a great leader. He voices his opinion. He's in the other team's face. He gets in their head. Like, I don't understand it. The energy that he brought, you could clearly see
1,000%.
The energy. Now, a lot of it's Vic Fangio, the youth core. I know that's part of it. But that bounce back from 23 to 24, right? CGJ was part of that, bringing him back and letting him be a leader on this defense. It was just a weird shot. It was a weird, unnecessary shot.
So weird.
In what world is Reed Blankenship? And no disrespect to Reed Blankenship, but in what world is he becoming the leader of the secondary over Quinyon Mitchell? Like I'm not even joking. Like Quinyon, Cooper DeJean. But then obviously CGJ is the leader of the secondary.
Correct. Let me tell, like he's going on this rant about future leadership with his departure, and we praised him for what it seemed like stepping up in that role and maturing this year.
And I still believe it. I still believe he is a great mentor when it comes to the
this year. I think he grew. Yeah. I think he did help mentor Quinyon. I think he was like big bro a little bit this year. Like that's all well and good. But let me tell you what a true leader does not do. He does not publicly throw his teammates under the bus. He does not constantly be involved in media circuses and having clips circulate.
Praises himself after losses.
Right. To throw up personal statistics and accolades after the team's failures. Like that's what real leadership does not look like.
Yeah.
And that's what he has done for the last 3+ years in an Eagles uniform. So thank you for your services.
Yeah.
It's time to move on from Darius Slay. CJ, GJ, you might be wearing a C on your chest this upcoming year. Yeah, James Bradbury quite literally shows better leadership characteristics than Darius Slay. And James Bradbury did not play this year.
Yeah.
And wasn't even like around the team often.
And I think it leads me to this place. And once again, no world where you trade any guy as talented as AJ Brown ever. No. I prefer players like Smitty. I do. Like it doesn't matter. I don't have to like it. You know what I mean? I don't have to love everybody on the team. And to be clear, once again, I love AJ. I love his like.
Yeah.
I love that he's outspoken. I just wish that he wouldn't like deflect why he's that way. Like you like attention. Like that's fine. It's okay to want attention as a great player. Like it's fine. Every great player loves attention.
It's almost like you're
acts like he doesn't like it.
Not to use this word because I hate this word, but like gaslighting. Like you say something, it grabs attention, it causes some swirl. You get the attention.
Your name's in the headlines.
Instead of just like letting it drift off, instead of addressing it the right way, you make me feel like you didn't say those things in the first place, or your teammate didn't do these things in the first place, or whatever. I will say this to kind of pivot, man, to talk about this world-class organization that the Eagles have turned into. If anyone has ever questioned like what Nick Sirianni does, I think we're getting a very good glimpse. And Big Dom, Big Dom
personality,
hell of a role leadership-wise behind closed doors, okay? But Nick Sirianni, I think, has very clearly earned his paycheck and respect in terms of, keeping this locker room together, especially with the issues they've had throughout the year. But Sirianni, obviously, get some spotlight there. But Howie, man, Howie Roseman does it again. The one thing we were expecting, the one thing we were waiting on, right? That's the most recent thing to happen. Saquon Baun brought back 3 years, 51, 34 guaranteed, I believe. Fourth highest paid linebacker in the National Football League. Well deserved. So happy to have Saquon Baun back for the next 3 years here at Philly. But the one thing we weren't expecting was for that news to drop a few days ago of 2-6 getting an absolute bag
for a running back, especially
for a running back. 2-year, $41+ million contract extension that keeps him here for 4 more years. He's going to retire an Eagle. He will be remembered as an Eagle more so than a Giant. He might already be remembered as an Eagle more so than he is a New York
champion,
correct?
Like
but goddamn, that was amazing to see. Not only for him, the person, everything that you see of his family and social media and how well deserved it is, but just to have that security of like he's here, because there's not going to be a world in 2 or 3 years where we're looking back and going, man, we jumped the gun on Saquon. Like, I can't believe we're on the hooks for 21 this year for Saquon. Like, no, that's not even in the discussion.
Yeah.
It's so well deserved, but it's just what Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie do, man. They reward their guys. They get ahead of schedule, and all in doing so, like, everyone sees 2-year, $41 million. Oh, that just opened up $6 million on the cap this year.
Yeah,
this year. And the Slay move was 4+ and another. So Howie in like 24 hours opened up like $12 million in cap space in 2025, all while rewarding his stars.
Yeah, no, it is amazing. And to your point about Saquon specifically, the great thing about the Saquon contract is that he's already earned it. Like, there's nothing else that he really needs to do the rest of his time. Like, obviously, if he goes out and never plays a game, like, you're going to be a little blown. But all he needs to go out there and do is show up and be Saquon Barkley the rest of the way. He doesn't ever have to have, like, a 2,000-yard season again, right? Like, it doesn't have to be that deep. You can just go out there, get a 1,500 rushing yards a season.
Yeah, something light.
We're going to be happy. We're going to get into the playoffs. But the biggest thing for me, man, to your point, is that he deserved it. And you don't leave this season or go into next season or leave next season going into that off season worrying about 2-6, leaving your backfield or having to move him or him being unhappy or franchise tagging. None of that shit. You get it taken care of ahead of time. And for all we know, man, you get to next season. We say that it's not going to happen again. What if it does? What if he has 2,000 yards again? What if he actually breaks the record next year? What if he has 25+ rushing touchdowns next year?
I know.
And his price tag goes up further because now he's had 2,000-yard seasons or 2 seasons where he's gone over 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns total. And now you have to pay him even more. So once again, Howie Roseman getting ahead of the curve of what could come if you win a second Super Bowl with Saquon, and what would you have to extend him? What would be the amount then? Just like he did with Jalen Hurts, just like he did with Devontae Smith, just like he did with A.J. Brown, where he got ahead of the market, he got ahead of the trends, he gets the contracts out there early, he doesn't wait until they're about to be expired like a T. Higgins where you have to franchise tag him 2 seasons in a row. The Bengals are the perfect example of the opposite of the Eagles, right? When you talk about managing talent and the talent that you brought in, whether it's via draft or trade, and maintaining and keeping that talent in-house, the Bengals obviously suck at it, right? Like, you got T. Higgins out there. Just get a contract done. He said he wants to play with Joe Burrow for the rest of his career. He wants to play with Jamar Chase. They let Joe Mixon walk. Now Trey Hendrickson is on the block because of contract situations. They're one defensive tackle that's really good. So once again, these are the guys that you get ahead of. Get them the contracts early. That way you don't have to worry about it down the line.
Yep.
So yeah, Howie's just doing what Howie does. He's creating space. And to that point about Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, so on and so forth, right? You got Khalil Mack that's out there, a free agent. You got the Bosa brothers for whoever is interested in them. I don't personally want them on the team, but they're talented. I get it, whatever. You got plenty of options out there on the market right now, to the point, man, where, like, don't get me wrong, Myles Garrett is number 1, but you have a little bit of balance. You have a little bit of leeway here where if the Browns, and this is, within the mindset that Myles Garrett has definitively said, I want out, I'm not playing for the Browns. Yeah. You look at the Browns, you go to the Bengals, you say, hey, what do you want for Trey Hendrickson? Look, Browns, I can get Trey Hendrickson for this. I know Trey Hendrickson is not Myles Garrett, but for the price that you want, I'm going to go this route. Like you have some leeway here with all the options that are available this offseason. How he's gearing up for a retool and to get back to run that back, man. You can see it right now. But the Zach Baun, just real quick, the Zach Baun signing, it's what I mentioned to you as like what I wanted to get done the most out of all our free agents. So yes, that gives me a great peace of mind that is done. It is crazy. 4th highest paid linebacker in the NFL after 1 season starting. So as much as I love, Yeah, no, Brian, it's not to say Trey Hendrickson is the move. Khalil Mack's almost 40 as well. It's just to say you have options there that you do not have to sell the farm for Myles Garrett if that is what is required. But something to keep an eye on with Baun. Just you obviously remain optimistic. Does he have another season like he had, or was that a flash in the pan? It's something to keep in mind, but I do buy in to his chemistry with this team, his fit with Vic Fangio's defense, and overall the analyzation, the evaluation skills of the Eagles organization to give him this contract. Yeah. I trust that they know what they're doing here, but it is something to pay attention to. Nonetheless, I'm very happy about it, man.
So, I love fucking with Brian, and I know Brian loves to give it right back. I'm all for a youth movement, fellas, and we're very young. Our core is very young.
Yeah.
But the other day he called Myles Garrett old. Myles Garrett's 29, coming off of 14 sacks in back-to-back years. He's arguably the best defensive player in the world.
How old is
Trey Hendrickson's 30. And if you guys were wondering, he's coming off of back-to-back 17 and a half sack seasons.
God damn. I didn't even know the numbers were like that.
So let's calm the fuck down when we say no I get it's not likely because again, these guys are going to come with extensions. That's money. Obviously, you see what they're doing with Baun and Saquon. There's only so much to go around. I don't expect either to happen now. I did see a tweet earlier that Hendrickson's asking price from Cincinnati is like a late second, early third, maybe a combination or a second and a fourth. I wouldn't hate it, wouldn't mind it at all. But yeah, let's stop understating how talented the names on them.
He led the league in sacks last year.
Yeah, brother. I'm not 30 years old, back-to-back 17 and a half seasons. Before that, 8. Before that, 14. Before that, 13 and a half ever since COVID. So
you pair them with Jalen Carter.
Yes, that's just another factor to it all. So yeah, let's slow the roll on not wanting. That's the thing. Is it going to happen? Very unlikely, whatever.
Right.
But when we say I'm good or I'll pass on these names, that blows my fucking mind.
What about Harold Landry, Brian? He's 28.
Right.
Harold Landry. He's not. He doesn't have the numbers of those other guys, though. He's 28, though. He's a little bit younger. Yeah. But no, I agree, man. If we got any of those guys, I think we should be ecstatic, quite honestly.
For sure. But anyway, price, of course, it's what Howie and Jeffrey do, dude. They reward their guys early. Obviously, when you win a Super Bowl, only the franchise is second in history. You are going to be super, super valuable. But to get it done as early as they did before the league year even really opens up, it's a sign to the rest of the league. Philly is now a destination. That's what things like this does. When you reward Landon and Jordan. I mean, AJ came here year one, had to sign up. What did we sign him for? A 4-year extension or 2 whatever it was. A year and a half into AJ's new deal with the Eagles, they gave him a 3 or 4 year extension.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley signed a 3-year deal. After one singular season, he gets a 2-year extension. That's what they do. They reward their guys early.
Let me ask you this.
Produce for them, they are going to reward you.
Is there any other guy you think that could happen with? Like any other guy on the squad that you
on the team now?
The one guy that comes to mind for me, man, is CGJ. Do you give him maybe a 1 or 2?
What did he sign? A 3-year deal this past year?
I thought it was 2. Maybe it was 3.
Maybe it was 2. I feel like it's 3, but I could be wrong.
It could be 3. If it's 3, maybe you just chill. Maybe you just chill. But I was thinking it was
up
2.
There.
Your offensive linemen, you need to get those like Cam Jurgens.
Cam's one of them.
Landon already got extended, right?
Landon, Jordan, Lane,
they're all good.
Lane's got 2 more years. I don't know how long. Yeah, they got it there. Maybe Mackay's the next move on another 1-year deal or 2-year deal or something like that. Cam's the only one, I believe, that is like younger and needs that to get off his rookie.
And that's his first extension, so that is going to be a decent one.
Yeah. Jalen Carter, that's the thing, right? If you want to get ahead of that, Jordan Davis, possibly. I don't know what their plans are in the future. But Howie, if there's one guy I trust to not make me worry about it, it is that guy.
The thing with Jalen Carter, Like, do you want him to go out and have 10 sacks next year and then pay him? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
is that?
Right,
But I don't
and
know rookie contracts. I don't know how it works as far as like when you're eligible to extend them. But
that is true.
I don't
He's
know.
got to be eligible though, because if Landon was eligible at the time he was,
Right.
then you would think. But I don't know. Maybe not. But
we drafted Jalen the year after we went to the Super Bowl and lost. Same with Cam. So it should be the same,
let
right?
me
They were the
ask you,
same
so
draft.
what time do you have to have a heart out on here? 12:03.
We can go to 12:15.
All right, that works.
Yeah.
What I was I've seen. So first of all, I'll have to send it to you the next time I'm on and he's on there. But anytime I'm on TikTok recently, basically ever since like the divisional round up until now, there is a Commanders fan that hosts a live on TikTok, and he's always got other Commanders fans in there, or maybe there's one Eagles fan in there debating, whatever. And I know it's other fan bases. I know there's trolls involved. I know it's views. It's TikTok. You're trying to rile people up. I get all of it. But it's some of the most asinine shit I've ever heard spewed. Like specifically because we just gave you 55 in the NFC Championship game. And, all that stuff.
You would think they wouldn't have a leg to stand on, right?
Yeah, you would think so. They do. They try to. But the one thing I continue to hear, I swear to God, every time I swipe through his live, and it's not just him, it's other. There's Chiefs fans in there talking about it, which I get it, salty. But they keep talking about how we're going to get crushed in free agency, how we have to pay so many guys and we don't have that. He's like, what money? What money? So now that Saquon Baun's back, we're going to lose 3 pieces. And I'm not saying that's not a big deal. I'm not like, look at what 2 of them did in the Super Bowl.
I did see that Mekhi would prefer to stay in Philadelphia.
Mekhi's 4. But
okay, you're counting Mekhi as coming back. I got you. So you're saying Slay, Milton, and Sweat, basically.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, but like, and I'm not trying to downplay
any of those players,
especially with what Josh Sweat and Milton Williams did in the biggest moments. But like, to sit here and act like we're getting bamboozled with holes in free agency is unbelievable. And then when they throw out there like, what money? Do you not like? That's my thing. Like, just pay attention if you're going to spit shit out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Do you not know who runs the team and how they just continuously get things done? That was part of the last live I saw. Like, it was after the Saquon extension. They started laughing about all the money going to Saquon. And I'm like, you guys are serious? Like, you guys, that guy.
Just speaking on things they don't understand. It would be like me going on a Chiefs, like going in on the Chiefs for their spending habits, right? As if I know exactly what's going on with their cap situation. Like I'm in that deep with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Washington Commanders fans do not have a clue as to what Howie Roseman's plan is or what the Eagles have done in totality up until this point in regards to the cap situation. There's other avenues that we can go to create more cap. Now, do I want to explore those? The ideas of like maybe you cut Goddard to save somebody. I don't know if I want to go that route, but it is a route to create more money if that is like the biggest worry in the world for the Philadelphia Eagles. And to that point, man, like if money's a concern, dude, you don't go out and trade for Deebo Samuel, right? You can go out, you can sign a wide receiver that actually plays wide receiver for a lot less money. You're paying a running back, right? Like that's what
on here. They have they have released Jonathan Allen and are allowing him to test free agency.
Sounds like a bird. Sounds like he goes to the birds for revenge. That's what it sounds like, but I don't know. We'll see. It's just funny. In the Chiefs, right? They go out and trade their best offensive lineman. So they have some nerve to talk about cap space as well, my man. Joe Tooney gets traded. It was yesterday or the day before.
Yeah. But they don't stop, man. That's the only thing. Like, we sit here and we talk about these players, Scotty, that like feel like I'm being gaslit. Like, did they say these things? I truly like, this is why I can't have open and honest, like, cross content communication. Like
Yeah.
I would love to work with other people, other fans, other whatever. I can't do it because like they truly believe, do they truly believe the shit that's coming out of your mouth? And if you're just being a troll, then I don't respect you. And if you believe that shit, like you're simply delusional. Like again, like if we just revisit the short history, we beat you 2 out of 3 times this year. The only time you beat us was on the last 6 seconds in Washington with Kenny Pickett playing quarterback.
Yeah.
And in the biggest game, in the NFC Championship game, you lost by 30 and gave up 55. And then we went on to blow out a dynasty and win the Super Bowl just a month ago.
It's one of those things.
You're running your mouth?
Yeah, you don't have a leg in this conversation. Like, let's watch the Commanders make the playoffs again this year. Let's do that first, right? For all we know, Jaden Daniels can come out and have a sophomore slump, just like every other fucking rookie quarterback that is dominated over the last couple years, right? What happened with CJ Stroud? He was supposed to come into this season with Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins. Why is the one guy slipping my mind? Is wide receiver 3. You got Joe Mixon added to him. Dalton Schultz, right? This was supposed to be CJ Stroud's MVP breakout year, sophomore year. Went on the media tour over the offseason. Did he look great this year? No, because teams figure you out. You get identified, you get overanalyzed, and teams figure out things, and you have to adjust. I think the one thing that I give the Commanders credit for, and it's like they take it and they just overdo it, man. Like I can give them credit for Jaden Daniels. He's a good young quarterback.
Yep.
But then you have to go, he's already elite. He's in the Lamar Jackson and the Josh Allens, and he's top 5, and he's gonna win the Super Bowl next year. Future MVP.
I feel like
better than Hurts, and it's just like you don't have to do that.
Right. The funny thing is, I feel like that's what almost all fan bases do.
I feel you. I do.
We've definitely done like we do it with our own players. We do it with Jalen. We've done it with Jalen.
I did it with Goddard.
Aiden. People do it with, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love. Like it happens in every fan base, right?
Yeah,
the problem is, go back to a phrase you said a couple minutes ago. You don't have a leg to stand on. My guy has been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Won 1. Super Bowl MVP. Playoffs in all 4 years as a starter. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Your guy either doesn't have a playoff win, has 1 playoff win, is a rookie. Like, you don't have a leg to stand on. And those same people will come out and say that Jalen Hurts stinks and he's, a running back playing quarter, whatever it is. It just makes me laugh, man. But
I'm just so, like, with the Jalen thing specifically, man, I know this is completely off topic. It's just something that is really going to get on my fucking nerves this offseason is Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert.
Oh, my God.
It's going to get on my last nerve. I know it shouldn't. I know it just shouldn't matter. Like, we're Super Bowl champions. I get it. But, like, Trevor Lawrence specifically, like, stop. Stop.
Can I tell you the one that irks me the most?
What's up? Who?
Is Jordan Love.
I feel that too, man.
Irks me the most.
Yeah, I feel it. I do. I feel it. Because he beat him twice last year.
Yeah. And when you watch all the boneheaded mistakes Jordan Love continuously makes, again, he's very early on in his career, 2 years, right? 2.5 years, whatever it's been for Jordan Love as a starter now. He's one of those guys. He's got 1 playoff win. Went into Dallas, went to Jerry World 2 years ago, and beat the brakes off of him. It was cool. But again, you're telling me you want this guy.
Yeah.
You're telling me, like, at least with Herbert, yeah, we know the winning and the intangibles and stuff like that. At least talent. I know the dude's got a rocket launcher attached.
Got a rocket launcher attached to his shoulder, right?
I have that to stand on. Like with some of these other guys, when you talk about a Jordan Love, when you talk about a CJ Stroud, talk about a Brock Purdy,
we don't even know if they're more talented than Hurts.
Right.
Let alone intangibles.
Like just arm talent, like just that, like zip it somewhere. Yeah, you can, you could say what you want about Justin Herbert from that perspective, but that's it. That's the only singular thing you can throw out there.
Yeah, I do agree, man. Jordan Love, he's on the list too.
We got 2 minutes before we wrap up
Yeah.
here, man. So
What you got?
anything Eagles that you wanted to get out there. We went over the extensions. Thank you, Howie.
Yeah.
The
I'm just glad we
drama.
got it done early. Yeah, let the drama
the
go.
only thing I was going to throw to you.
We talked about it. Let's let that fly. Let it sift away. Let's forget about it.
Usa.
Yeah.
The only Phillies thing that we have right now, man, as the season starts to approach in a little over 3 weeks, is, or maybe 3 weeks from right now. What's the name? Yo, it's what we brought up the other day. Lineup changes, right? Trey Turner leading off. Well, Rob Thompson said if Trey is the leadoff guy, which it looks like it's trending that direction, Bryce will be hitting 2. Basically, like, lock that in. Like, said to reporters, if Trey is the leadoff guy, Bryce will be hitting 2. Schwarber will be hitting 4 in that scenario. So, yeah, a little bit of a difference, man. Obviously, a couple.
I heard some guys talking on the radio about it yesterday. I think it was actually the Mike Missinelli afternoon show. And I don't know, they took the conversation in kind of a different direction, which I guess I'll throw it to you, right? But they were kind of worried about how Bryce Harper will deal with not being able to do what he wants by having to bat second versus third. So that was where, and maybe I just caught a glimpse. I was only listening briefly. I might have just caught a glimpse of what they were talking about, but that is where they took the combo.
I just think you're selling Bryce Harper, the teammate and the leader, short at that point.
Yeah, what he's willing to do to win.
Yeah. Like, the guy literally, and I know he's played the position, and it was his position, right? First base is his new position. But the report coming out is that he went to the front office and said if they wanted to get a power slugging first baseman, he would go back to right field, which is putting his arm in jeopardy, possibly, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and like you had said to me when I brought him hitting up to, like, last week or whatever, how he had mentioned, he wouldn't love it or whatever. And maybe he wouldn't love it, but to maybe make the sentiment that he's going to be frustrated by it or not want to buy into it, you're selling Bryce Harper a little short.
Yeah.
For me,
I think the question or the concern would come in if they start slow, if the lineup's not working, right? The adjustments, how quick do they lean back towards moving him back to third, the third in the lineup? So it's like, don't make the change just to make the change and then revert back. Like, stick with it. Stick with it long enough to see if it actually can work. It might not work the first week, right? The first 2 weeks, the first month even. But stick with it. Try to make it work and give it an actual chance.
It's funny, man. To wrap up, I do have an answer for you on a question you brought up to me a couple shows ago.
Yeah,
talking Philly spring training, and you asked me who has the most pressure on them this year. And I had said Trey, because we need a different level of Trey Turner this year. He hit 295 last year. We've gone through great moments. He's had big moments, big home runs in playoff series. Like, it's been good, but we need great. We need next level, right? Like top 5 shortstop. We haven't gotten that. With this lineup change and how they've been putting it out in spring training, Alec Bohm is under the most pressure. And what I mean by that is, you have the past, right? He's a guy that fans had on the chopping block after last year. He's a guy that had struggles in the postseason last year. Obviously, he's had fielding issues before. So he's a guy that's been in his own head, that's had struggles with the fan base in the past. But when you're now put in this position where Kyle Schwarber is moving from 1 to 4 and he's behind you, and Bryce Harper is possibly setting the table in front of you, and you're platooned in between those two now.
Yeah.
And if you look around the lineup, I don't really love any of the other options if push came to shove, if Alec Bohm can't do this job in the 3-hole. Like, you're not going to move JT Realmuto to hit in 3. Right. You're not going to, Max Kepler, Nick Castellanos aren't hitting 3. Bryson Stott, I don't love, in a 3-hole, you need power. You need pop as that possibility. And Bohm's a guy that can hit 25 plus. So Alec Bohm is now, with these moves, under the most pressure at the plate for the Phillies this year.
But maybe that's good for him, man. Like, maybe what he needs to kick him into high gear. Like, not only is it pressure from that spot, but it's confidence as well. Like, you're confident enough to throw him in the 3-hole. So now he has to live up to it. And I think that's what Alec Baun, whenever he gets in those slumps, I think it's got to be like some sort of mental thing, right? I think that is maybe the overbearing thing with this team in a sense, is like the mental. They got to get over that mental hump as a group, but also individually, they're going to have to get over some humps as well. And Alec Baun, I think, is one of the bigger mental. Yeah. I'm trying not to use the word midget. I understand that's offensive. Mental small person, man. That's what Alec Baun has shown that he can be. So hopefully this
1,000%.
vote of confidence from the Phillies organization, from Rob Thompson, throwing him in the 3-hole where he is going to be relied on. Maybe that bodes well.
Relied on, but
it restores his confidence.
It's definitely in an easier position, which is why I think he has a little bit more pressure, because he was asked to hit cleanup.
Should be able to succeed
in the postseason, or 4th or 5th, right? He's been asked to hit cleanup in the past, and that's just not where you want Alec Baun. And maybe Castellanos is behind him or Stott's behind him, a guy that the opposing pitcher or team isn't afraid of strategy wise.
Yeah.
You're pin cushioned in between Bryce Harper and the power behind you and Kyle Schwarber. You're going to have opportunities, brother. So, let's take advantage.
And if this doesn't work towards some consistency, then you know that Alec Baun just isn't the answer at that point. You've tried him in different settings, right?
Right.
So,
agreed.
Right? Joel Embiid. Maybe let's go Ben Simmons, maybe. Let's start at Ben Simmons first.
Well, he hasn't quit. He hasn't quit on anybody.
That's fair. That's fair. Ben Simmons is a quitter.
I know what you mean, though. How about Reggie Miller last night? I didn't watch it. I just saw the ball.
Alec Baun isn't Joel Embiid. You know what I mean? Like, that's my main complaint with the comparison. Like, he can't drop as much as Embiid drops in the postseason, if that's what you believe.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't offer as much as Embiid in the first place. But
did you watch the game last night? Or no?
Comparison. I can't, bro.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it either. I just saw a bunch of tweets about those strong soldiers that are still watching, about Reggie Miller. Just like at this point, right? Like, how are you still hating? You know what I mean?
You're not saying anything that we haven't said.
Right. It's unbelievable, but
so what did he say? I'm confused. What did he hate on? Embiid, or
from what it sounded like was that, like, what he's heard, like, as if he has like these behind the doors kind of secrets that Joel like could be playing, or Joel doesn't want to play, like questioning his want to. And it's like, if there's anything going on with the Sixers right now and Embiid, that's not the problem. So, God,
man, I grew up like loving Reggie Miller, man. I did. I really loved him as a player, but I cannot stand that motherfucker now, dude. I cannot stand him. God,
the LeBron and Stephen A. Smith thing, man.
Oh my God. And then they had Kai Sennett on there yesterday, brother.
I mean,
oh my God.
It is absolutely
unbelievable.
The only thing I will say is could be my goat. Could not be my goat, my friend. Because if I'm being honest, I know we got to get out of here. If I'm being honest, that was at 1,000% a clown ass move, and to add on to it, a move that you created. So I don't know if you what he said. Apparently, like what he said to him, right?
What? Say it.
Like LeBron going over to Stephen A. Smith at courtside at the Lakers. Like, it went viral.
Oh no, I did not see that. No.
Oh yeah, like so he went up and was like very confrontational with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith like kind of addressed it this morning, but didn't go into specifics. But it was basically about like, leave my son out of your mouth, like leave Bronny out of it, that type of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have created all of this. So if Stephen A. Smith can't say it, allow me to. Your son, who is not good enough, or maybe not yet good enough, I'll give it a little bit of grace here, to play in this league, is here because of you. He is playing alongside of you because of you and your agent. because you threatened teams that possibly would have taken him for him to fall to the Lakers. You have tweeted in the past, watching NBA games, that Bronny's better than some of these cats out here. You have brought all of it, all the attention to your son and yourself. People are going to talk about it. And the reason I say it's a punk-ass move is because that was thought about.
Yeah.
You didn't call Stephen A. Smith. You didn't text him.
You did that behind the
scenes. You didn't do anything. You knew that there's thousands and thousands of people and cameras around, and you made it a spectacle. You went up, stood over them, looked down on them, used some curse words that got people's attention, and stormed off. That was planned.
Yeah.
That's a bitch-ass move.
This is where me and Brian can get together, man. Like, yeah, I can do with some LeBron hatred. Yes. I am not a Bron fan, and I don't know. You can't have this conversation with everyone because there's so many people out there that are just mystified by his greatness, right? And the 50K point. I mean, he's played for what, 25, 30 fucking years? Like, incredible. Yeah. Like, 50K, yes.
Drop 40, 45.
He's playing at a high level.
But
I swear, Dylan, I swear the NBA is what it is because of LeBron and players like LeBron. But LeBron is at the head of it because he is LeBron. And all of this, howdy, hoorah at the beginning and the end of games between players from the other teams and switching teams every offseason, leaving Cleveland and not having any ounce of dignity by going and joining a super team with Dwayne Wade and Chris. I think the whole downfall of the NBA can be blamed on LeBron James. It sounds crazy, I know. But
I think he's
Bronny,
incredibly
spend 4 years in college like you fucking need to, dude. You're not that good. You're not your father. You can't deflect blame there. That's ridiculous. It's
and the sad part is it's not Bronny's fault at all. It ain't
it's not. It's not
the fucking kid's fault. It's
got him signed up with Rich Paul, forcing his way around universities and shit.
That's not a slight at him as a person or as a father or as a basketball player or anything. It's cool. It's cool. And yeah, maybe you have the grace to get him in, but guess what? You have opened the door to criticism. Like you pulled your son's playing next to you. You pulled all these strings. You are LeBron James. Do you think that your son is not going to be talked about on national media? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah. Let me throw this to you. Last thing on the show today, man. Why are Carmelo's kids? Why is Carmelo's kid, Kai and Anthony? Why is he so good at basketball? Why is Carlos Boozer's two kids at Duke about to start for Duke University next year, right? Former players and their kids. Why is LeBron's sons suck at basketball? Suck in the stance of in D1 NBA standards, right? But Kai and Anthony and the Boozer twins can make it.
Atmosphere, Scotty, what did the fucking kid average at USC?
Like 5 points. 5 points.
I think. 4.
Yeah, like it's interesting. I'm kidding mostly. I was insinuating that LeBron might just not be very hands-on with developing his sons in basketball, but I'm being facetious there at that point.
Right. Well, and those guys are retired, and he's not, so it's not like he has all the time to coach and train and be around, like in the moment.
Michael Jordan's kids weren't good at basketball.
Yeah. It's not. It's just like it is, man. But again, those are kids that are going through all right, it's LeBron James, and he's on another spectacle. But like, you don't see Dwayne Wade's son, you don't see Carmelo Anthony's son. You don't see some of these other stars, in the spotlight the way that he is. And again, like, man, I'll never forget this day 2 of the draft or the second round of the draft. Like, literally the rumors of Rich Paul telling people that Bronny will go play overseas if you take him just so he can fall to the Lakers. You controlled that. And I told you when it happened. If I was a team that was thinking about taking them, I would have laughed in their face, taken them, and said, go play over fucking seas. You think I'm worried about this 51st draft pick right now? No, you want to make a point? I'll make a point right back.
And that's the other thing this season, man. Like I just have like so many conspiracy theories with the NBA at this point. Like you mentioned, like obviously Bronny getting forced to LA.
Yeah.
Then you have the Luka trade overnight, no gauging of interest around the league at all for Luka Doncic, MVP last year, right? No gauging at all around the league, and the Lakers just get Luka Doncic. Like it does. It makes you wonder. Like I know Brian's being funny here, but like, what happened with the Luka trade? Like, what happened? That wasn't Adam Silver trying to revive the NBA
in NBA history, and possibly one of the biggest trades in sports history. Went down overnight with not a peep surrounding it.
Right.
Yeah, I would say the dude had a little bit of a hand in it.
Yeah, I agree.
And nothing happens within that organization that
without
he
LeBron
doesn't have a hand in. And the funniest part is, man, the Lakers are fucking rolling. They're the rolling. 2 seed out west. They're on
9-game straight.
9-game win streak, whatever it is. He and Luka in the postseason, they're going to get A. Reeves back. They're going to get Rui back. Like, they're going to be a team that can contend for a title this year. And he's going viral for getting in Stephen A. Smith's face last night. And the last thing I'll say, I know we're wrapping up, man, is the funniest fucking part is he's the greatest player of my lifetime.
Yeah.
He's the second. He's the second.
I don't know, Dylan. I don't know. I really don't know, Dylan.
Who you taking over him? I mean,
it's the only non-Sixers jersey that I got from the NBA, bro. I'm kidding.
I love the chef.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
but Shaq brought it up the other night when Steph and the Warriors they beat somebody the other night. Maybe it was the Knicks in the Garden. And he said that, you do got to mention Steph in the combo. He's not the GOAT, but he's up there. He's in somewhere in that combo with Kobe and Michael and LeBron.
But we can all agree that Steph's top 10, correct? We can all agree with that standpoint.
He's top 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But no, I'm kidding. LeBron 50K is the leader.
No, I know.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
but that's the point. He's the greatest player of my generation. He is, for my opinion, the second greatest player of all time. And his cronies that are all over his fucking knob all the time take that as like I'm saying something hateful.
Yeah.
I just told you your favorite player is the second best to ever do it. And you think I'm hating on him.
Right.
No, he's just not better than one other person.
But his fans, they embody the identity of LeBron himself. And that's what he does as well, right? Like he's so worried about Stephen A. Smith. Who cares, dude? You're LeBron James.
But that's my point. And if you truly had an issue with Stephen A. Smith and you thought he was questioning you as a person and as a father, or thought he was saying disrespectful things about your son on a personal level, if you truly had an issue like that, what does a father do? Someone that's truly pissed off do?
Right.
Probably would have called Stephen A. Smith the moment it started happening, would have reached out in some way, got his attention, whatever. No, he waited, weeks on weeks since this started blistering till he was courtside, till after the game when there's cameras out to stand
when he won, right? Does he do that if they don't win an OT?
Right. Like, dude, so fucking corny. Like, that's my biggest thing. He's such a cornball. And that's, to me, like, that's another thing. That's what takes away from the GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
One dude is this fucking psychotic killer.
Yeah.
Psychotic. The other dude's one of the corniest dudes I've ever seen in the face of sports.
Yeah.
So, yeah, missed me with that. But all right, we gotta get
you back. Get out of here. Could do this all day. GOAT conversations, guys, right?
There's about 30 of you in here right now. Do us a favor. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate all of you. Follow us on Twitter at DSM_media. For myself, for Scotty. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Yes, sir. Peace, everybody. Go Birds. Go fight.